All right, so we are back on air and we have to flip the discussion a bit, and we need to talk about matters, security in the country. It is that particular period again, once that the country is now gearing forward to having that election. And each and every time, security begins with you and I. And we need to understand what are some of the issues that's affecting the police officers and even you as a civilian, and how can we bridge that gap between the police officer and a civilian. And by the way, how do you call a police officer? Bwana mkubwa, afande, afisa, bro, sister, okay, governor, Bwana crown. There are those names that we usually use. The slang we use, ama polisi, ndio huyo sanse amekuja. We just need to understand the whole scenario where it moved from a police force to a police service. And with me to help me understand this is one gentleman, police spokesperson Bruno Shioso. I'm Oloo. If I shrub, please don't crucify me. All right, don't crucify me. Karibu sana to the show. How should I call you? Mkubwa, Bwana Bruno, Bwana Afisa, Afande. What is the light word that I can use to refer to a police officer?
Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenyans. Nice being here today.
Yes.
I'm excited to be with you at KBC. Before maybe I move into the question, let me bring the greetings of the Inspector General.
Absolutely.
The two DIGs, the Director of CID, and all my colleagues, rank and file. Yeah, they know I'm here. They are happy and excited for me being here, sharing some few issues about the National Police Service. How do you call a police officer?
Yes.
Really great question. Yeah. First of all, before I come into that stretch, I'll say that what the public should know is that we are their servants. They are our bosses. Yeah. So when they're still trying to figure out how to call us, let them figure it from that point of being up there, looking down at us. Not, looking down against us, but just like knowing that we are their servants. So they can try to look for an appropriate kind of name they can give us, which is fitting, respectful. But generally and universally, it's very easy to call a police officer. Just call him officer. Officer. That's perfect. Yeah. Just call us officer. We'll really be proud, because it makes us feel appreciated. It makes us feel that you care for us. And having said that, it's only the police as a profession or as a career in the whole world that everybody, right from that constable you saw graduating the other day to the Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Police, who share, they're all officers. Okay. They're all officers. You'll never get that anywhere else. Right from that very junior to the topmost person sharing. We're all officers. So we don't say that, the top guys are the ones who are called officers, and the junior ones, maybe they are called some other funny name or so. Yes. We are all officers. Yes. So let the public know that we are all officers, call us respectfully as officers, but knowing and remembering that we are servants and you are employers, you are our bosses, and you have to respect you. All right. Yeah.
I usually call them, hello, bro. Sister, sometimes because my brother is also a police officer, so I think it's because of that basis that I get it to interact with them on that basis. But then now, you have been in office for slightly over 100 days.
Sure.
All right. How is it so far?
So far, it's really cool. I'm enjoying my work. Yeah. We're having some great moments with my fellow officers, with the public, just trying to do what we're supposed to do. Yeah. Protecting lives, their properties, and trying to communicate to them to remind them of some few basics. Yeah. So it's been awesome so far. I want to thank the public for the kind of support, because so many reach out to us, and more specifically to my office, trying to get to know some information about the police, and even us again trying to reach out to them. So we've been having some very fantastic communications, conversations all along. So far so good, and I believe we're trying to impact our service delivery to the people. Yes.
Did you expect to get this position you are in today?
Let me say I've never really been overly ambitious,
Yes.
but of course, as a human being, we have our motivations, and I had some kind of ambitions. I mean, as I've been resting up in the service, but the last thing I ever thought about was being a police spokesperson. Yeah, because first of all, I'm a laid-back person.
Yeah.
I like working from the back room,
Yeah.
and from the front line. So I can have my opinions, but I'll communicate them within my inner circles. And I love pushing. I've always loved pushing policy from the back room. Yeah, so it came as a surprise. Although something funny, maybe let me say some 4 or 5 years ago, because the former guy in this office, Mr. Owino, somebody who's really well known, celebrated, and respected as a police spokesman for so many years. He is a personal friend of mine of so many years. And I remember there's a time he gave me a call, asked me to meet him over lunch, and he told me, that's around 5 years ago. Yeah. 4 or 5 there, boss, and will you want to take my job? I think I want to move. I told him, no, I don't want your job. So we agreed that I didn't want his job. Yes. That was it. Then this time around, I was called by the IG, told me, I want you to take this job. Of course, I could argue, because, for us, we never argue, we take instructions as they come. So I said, well, okay, yes, sir, I'll do the best I can. Okay. So I hope I'm doing the best I can, serving the IG, serving the police service, and serving the country and our public the best way I can. Yeah, so just making a contribution to good policing outcomes. Yeah.
You have risen through the ranks. You are an OCS. You are base commander way in Siaya and in Kisumu. You have been an instructor at Kiganjo Police School. You have been different ranks, etc., etc. How do you describe yourself that up to this particular point you're now this police spokesperson?
Yeah, this is amazing. I never told you all this. I don't know how you got it. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I joined actually as a police constable some many years back. And I had my very good motivations of why I joined the police force. I wanted just to do great service, serve the people, and maybe see whether I can be rewarded as I move up. Yeah. But my motivation was just to serve. And within a year, I became, a year and a half, I became an inspector of police, jumping so many other ranks, in between there. And sure, when I became an inspector, it was one of the first, because I became an inspector, and the same day I was made an OCS of a very big station.
The same day?
Same day. Actually, I was informed of being an OCS before I knew that I'm an inspector. So it happened, so everybody was surprised. Yeah, but it's been, a very good journey, because I started learning major things at a very early age, and I took all my time into it. And I learned so much, how to relate to officers, how to relate to other people, leadership issues, management and leadership issues. I began much, much earlier. And I developed a very clear pathway, trying to know how I could serve well, make a difference, and rise as I do that. Yeah, so I agree with you. I've been an OCS, and shortly, I was again appointed by the Commissioner of Police by that time to become the first OC of Central Bank Kisumu when you just opened. Yes. Because they wanted a good officer. I was taken over there. Shortly again, traffic was disbanded. They wanted good officers. And somehow I was told, hey, you have to go become a base commander without even training. I learned on the job. So I went to traffic, became a base commander, Kisi, Siaya, and some other places like Kisumu. I went to Kisumu again, finally. Then shortly again, I went into prosecution.
Yes, you are court prosecutor.
Yeah, I became a court prosecutor. That time we were doing from where the Supreme Court is. Yes. It was really amazing because I learned so much about law, and again looked at crime from the other side. Because most police officers will look from it from the front end. Yeah. So I looked at it from the middle and even from the other back end, of it. Because now I was working very closely with the magistrates, with the courts, and seeing how they operate. And some of these top lawyers, I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to work around them. Close to them and observe how they operate. So I learned so much from them. And then from there, we went into the mainstream investigation. Yeah, fraud, they call fraud investigation, senior headquarters, and so those kind of corruption and those kind of stuff. So very versatile. I learned so much along the path. Then I ended up in Kiganjo as an instructor. Very humbling. Being part of the solution of molding officers. Although I didn't have the chance of teaching the younger ones, but I instructed or taught in the senior training wing, the senior officers. And from there again, I became a personal assistant of the director of CID. So many years. Those are two directors. Yeah. So I think just because of service, and somehow wherever I serve,
you leave a mark.
Well, I can't say that. Other people say that, but somehow I'm selected for something again more challenging to that. So I keep on building on it and keep on learning as I do that, and trying to perfect and trying to learn from my mistakes and learning from other people. So it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm still enjoying it. Now, right now, I'm in a different office. I served again international policing with the UN. So it's been good.
Interesting. And this actually shows even to other officers out there that it's possible to rise through the ranks because of your hard work and determination. But I'm more interested in your position when you are an instructor at Giganjo Police College. Perhaps you can tell us because the syllabus that is being taught at the college, do you really think that it needs to be revised so that they keep in tabs with the current, the situation we have in the country, because the world is moving, and tomorrow we are interacting with different people. We are a digital world, and the other day the police officers, actually even the OBs have been digitized. What do you really think should be done to ensure that police officers are also at par with the current world?
Yeah, already has been done. Let me say that. When I was in Giganjo, we had a talk of police reforms by that time, but it was not well structured by then, because I was in Giganjo before the new constitution. But you see, with the new constitution, which brought in, the reforms, the police reforms. Yes. It made it a law that you have to reform. You see, before then, those are just initial. Individual initiatives of the commissioners of police, just to drive down our reforms piecemeal. So we had a syllabus. It was a functional syllabus. We can't fault it, but of course there are areas we could take here and there and make it work, and it was working. Fit for purpose for then. But as you have rightly said, the way the world is moving, there's so much that you have to change with the times, in terms of technology, in terms of human rights expectations and those kind of issues. And these issues have been catered for with the new constitutional dispensation which brought in the police reforms, which it has been ingrained actually in the Constitution and in the Police Act. So having said that, right now, because of the police reforms which are ongoing, the first areas of the reforms are taken on the police curricula. Yes. Just to address what you are rightly saying. To recalibrate the syllabus and the old curriculum to make it fit for purpose for the current times. So right now we are having a very robust, curriculum based on the international norms of policing, what we call democratic policing, and it's we have a baseline, which is a UN baseline, and what we call the strategic guidance framework of the UN. You can get it online. It gives the basic framework on how it should be, and ours actually fits. In fact, our curriculum, I'll say, goes even well beyond the UN expectations. As a baseline. Just because of the same constitution which informed the reforms. You see, it's always said that our constitution is one of the most robust and most transformative and blah, blah, blah. So, and that's what's driving our reforms and in turn driving the police curricula. So our curriculum is not just again being pushed or pushed by the police itself. We are working with actors, human rights actors, international development partners, who are bringing in their specific inputs to make it, fit for purpose. So yes, right now, the curriculum we are using right now is very transformative. It's, is even well beyond the baseline internationally. So it's one of the best we have. Yes, addressing all the key issues to do with, democratic policing.
That's interesting, because even right now when you see police officers who pass out from different institutions of training, we see different faces coming out there, because when you go right now, even the OB is digitized. You know, you go to a police officer's room, you know, you have your fingerprints, you know, stored digitally, and that actually raises the sense of record keeping. True. For future use. But let me talk about the issue of public attitude towards police officers. Still, we really need to have that bond completely squeezed. So there's a very tight bond between the civilian and the police officers. Does it really worry you?
It worries because going back to police work, and actually the purpose and the intent of police work, you see, police is part of the community.
Yes.
It's part of the public. We're just part of the public. We are unlike maybe other professions from within the discipline services like the military. You see, with the police, we reside with the people. We're part of the people.
Yes.
Actually, we say that we're just a donation of the people. We're doing the work people should be doing for themselves. But then because they have other activities, they're busy with their economic lives and personal lives.
Yeah.
They'll pick a few of themselves to say, hey, you guys, can you take over our security issues? So that's the police. Actually, it says in one of the principles of policing that the public are the police and the police are the public. That's one of the key roles of policing. So it really worries me that chance is there, that gap between the police and the public is there. But then it comes to the question of the police reforms, which is actually meant to address this pertinent issue.
Yes.
But then now the problem of the reforms is this, according to me, this is my opinion, maybe I meant to be corrected, is that, you see, we're trying to reform the police, but then you're forgetting that attitudes and these perceptions, I mean, they are both ways, you know?
Exactly.
So we should be reforming the police and reforming the public at the same time.
But that needs a bit of some civic education.
That I'm saying is,
yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say. So it requires so much investment in terms of civic educations. So what I'm trying to say is that as we are reforming police, as we're struggling to make sure that we bring in a new mentality of policing, at the same time, we should have specific programs targeting the public.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'll say that I really want to be part of that conversation. And as the head of the corporate communication of the police, it is part of my role. But, you know, I can just only do so much. Maybe appearing here and trying to appeal to the public, and maybe others will dismiss me, that's PR, blah, blah. You know, at times we go to Twitter and say something, people say, that's PR, those are the police, you know. It's because even them, they're coming from that point, or a standpoint, where they have not been reformed themselves. You see? So we need a software that, should be working at the police. We push it, tell them these are our employers. Yeah?
Yes.
This is the way you have to work with them, and we must work with them. We have no two options. They don't know always about it. But at the same time, we should be working with the public, telling them, hey, you guys, these are police officers. They are part of you. They're just like your kids. Your kids in your house, moja atakosea hapa hivi kesho, somebody like that. But then you don't throw them out with the kid in the bathwater. Yeah. Let's look for solutions. Once the public also appreciates and understands that we're part of them, we're part of the family, and we're there for them, well, irrespective of our shortcomings. Yes. Yeah? Yeah. Because they'll be there, and they'll continue being there. The issue is, how do we come together to see how we can approach this? Okay, solutions have been brought up, like community policing. Yes. And actually, most of the police officers now live within the communities. Yes. 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 So some of the solutions, which still, again, they're being driven by the police, because we want to see solutions, again, being driven from the other side again, you see? So solutions are there on the table. We talk about community policing. Great idea. Kenya has been on the forefront of this, actually, not just because of the reforms. If I told the journey of police reform, it came way before the reforms. Okay. I remember with the NAC government, when it came to power, way back in 2002. And 2 years, I remember, because I took I've always tried to be a reformer even way back. So I took a keen interest, and I remember where there was, for the first time ever, when the Commissioner of Police was appointed, a deputy was appointed by the president, was appointed with an express mandate to lead police reforms. So, okay. So I'm saying the journey has been an old journey, but there have been maybe some bottlenecks along the way. So these police reforms, not reforms, but the community policing is a very good tool that we are trying to drive from police to see how we can narrow this gap. We can cross this bridge from the police and the public, so that we can come together, sit on the common table the way you are sitting and discussing. Yeah. Not that I'm perfect. I know that even you are perfect, you see, but we can now always try to have some common ground, not hate each other, but speak to each other and know how we can improve from there.
Okay.
So that's an area that we're inviting the public to come in so strongly. There are so many initiatives, I can say around 2 or 3.
Yes.
Which I mean, they're in the face of the public, but there are so many others again happening right from the front line. Go to Kisi. Kisi, the county police commander, is a champion of community policing. Yes. He's dedicated to most of his service, not just doing the cop work as it should be, but going beyond that.
We need to salute him.
Yeah.
The county commander?
Yeah, Mr. Kohli.
Yes.
Mr. Kohli, beautiful work he's doing in Kisi, trying to reach out to communities, trying to understand their needs and trying to solve their needs. Go to Nakuru, Madam Beatrice Kiraguri, the county police commander again there. She's taken a different approach. Her approach is now through sports. Trying to say that, I mean, maybe bring them together first. Let's not even talk to them. Just bring them together, throw a ball on the pitch, let them play. At the end of the game, they are hugging.
Yes.
You see? Then start talking. So the law this year, she's been doing the finals was 2 weeks ago, big final. Go to Machakos. Machakos, the county commander, Isa. Fantastic job. They said they had a big meeting yesterday in is it called Mwala or what? One of the some counties.
Yes.
One of the community policing models is on our. You check our timeline on the Twitter and Facebook, you'll see all those, and so many others who are doing similar things. So what we're saying, we want the public again to give them the benefit of doubt, join them, and be part of these conversations, part of these activities, and let's move together. So that at the end of the day, we start from we erode this mistrust.
Yes.
Once we can now be able to sit together, play together, and then we can now talk critical issues.
And actually this can also be, it's quite evident because we have, when we have the DCI,
yes,
anytime there's a case, the gentleman behind the keyboard narrates how it happens, but then the DCI also launched the feature. It's the feature
number, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Where the public can actually send and talk to them directly.
And even we have feature with the DCI. Fantastic job. The IG has engaged the IG on Twitter. Every fortnight, first Monday of the fortnight, people call. Just he'll sit in the office on his laptop. People are chatting him and he's responding to them. And so many other initiatives. For my office is an open door office. Anytime people just walk in, people call, and we take the calls and field questions. Yeah, it's quite easy because when I was having this kind of conversation with you, it was quite prompt. The response was quite quick between me and you. Which is quite commendable. Let me ask you, what are you trying to fix in your office? What are you fixing? My office per se, as the communication?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, my office, it has a critical role to play in all this we're discussing, because now we should be actually, not really we are the face of the police, of the service. At the same time, again, it's us to come up with those initiatives of trying to reach out. So, but then, of course, we have these challenges of capacity.
Yes.
It's still a very small, young office. I have a small dedicated staff. Very nice, very nice dedicated people doing the best they can, but we can do with more capacities in terms of the human resources, equipment and stuff,
Allow me to take a break. The director says that we also have to follow the procedure and take a break. Then when we come back, we are just going to pick it from where we've left. We have got so much we need to talk about.
Sure.
And even you can talk to us. He's here today. You can send in your questions and he'll be glad to answer them once we come back. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Utakuwa na hatari kubwa sana.
Hatari gani?
I'm tired. Akili. Nimechoka.
Sasa uko hata kulipa mshahara bila kufanya kazi.
Mara uko sawa, mara unabadilisha mawazo. Mimi nitakuelewa vipi?
This is too much.
Uniform yako hiyo.
Ya nini?
Ya kazi.
Umemwona?
Nani?
Chiku. Huyu mwanamke ana nini lakini hatulii.
kwenye mkulima tutakuwa wahandisi.
Na saa zingine unakuwa na matunda mengi. Hayo matunda yakiwa mengi yanakuwa na shida kuuza. Kwa hivyo badala ya kuuza tunaweza kuyatengeneza akawa ya kuwekwa kwa muda mrefu.
Tumfuge samaki kwa kijumba.
Tilapia ni aina ya samaki anayehimili sana magonjwa na hukua kwa haraka, hivyo kufugwa kwa wingi. Silver Cryptid inayojulikana sana kama omena ama dagaa ni kipenzi cha watu wengi.
Basi ungana nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
Welcome back. We're still having this discussion here with the police spokesperson Bruno Shioso. From where we left, what are you fixing in your office? What is your agenda? What is your objective?
Yeah, so as I was saying before we went on break, first of all, I'm really working on my capacities.
Yes.
So that I can be more effective and efficient. And once I reach there, because I'm working close to the Inspector General of Police, then my agenda basically, and what will make me go sleep smiling, is to see that we're trying to close this gap between the police and the public, these suspicions, where we can restore trust into the police and the service. We'll want to see people having issues reaching out to the nearest police officer,
yes,
nearest police station, confidently, as their property, talk to them and be addressed. On the flip side of it again, I really want, and this is a strong agenda from within, to change attitudes within the police, to make sure that they know we are service and at the service of our clients, the customers, who are the public. Every company has, actually they spend so much money on marketing and sales. So people will call me a police spokesperson for the police, but me, I look at myself as maybe the chief marketing officer or marketing director, you know, so that me and my staff will be on the front line marketing the service to the people, and the same and vice versa, try to market again the people to the service. So those are some of the key areas where I'm working around issues of changing narratives. You know, most narratives are whichever way against the police, against the public, because even the police have their narratives against, and they are part of the powerful police culture. You see, where we call it the blue thin line of policing. We feel that we are alone, we've been abandoned by the people, they don't care about us. You see, there's a narrative, a strong narrative forming part of the police, and that's why police will keep to themselves. At the same time, the public will say, oh, they're unprofessional, they are corrupt. Those are narratives again. So we want to demystify these two narratives, so that we say, okay, fine, we might have maybe one or two bad officers.
Yes.
From where you sit, we want to look at those officers in the true perspective as just, a bad ebb falls in an otherwise clean barrel. And we want again to give the benefit of doubt to the public. We don't want police officers to look at the public as the enemy.
Yes.
Or all as criminals.
But actually, that is a situation right now.
Yeah, like anytime you go to a slum and meet a boy with a rasta, he's a criminal, arrest him.
Exactly.
Just because of that. Those are bad narratives, you know. They are stereotyped, which are biased. So those are issues we want to see how we can play our role. We know the pressures the police have when it comes to policing, and in the course of that, they can make some few mistakes over there, as they do a very good job. But you want to remind them that, let's not just generalize. And the public also, let's tell them that don't just generalize. That in time now you see me having maybe my cup of tea in a good restaurant, you assume that is a process of corruption.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been corrupted so that I can afford, going to a fast hotel to have a cup of tea.
That every police officer should live a miserable life.
Miserable life. If I drive a good car, then he's corrupt. Or any other police officer is corrupt. You see, they really help anything. Police officers, we know they're hardworking people. They have some other interest elsewhere. They have families who are doing some other great things.
Yes.
Look at them like that. But if there's a wrong that has been committed, let's try to isolate it. Let's see how we can approach it and fix it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested in understanding the cases of extrajudicial killings that has been going on. The civil society, the human rights activists have been looking up, talking about them over and over again. And police officers are actually at the center of all this. And what would you talk about the extrajudicial killings we have, the forced disappearances? We have cases of abductions, and etc. How are you intending to solve this?
Yeah, and this is actually an extension of just discussed the issue of narratives.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything going bad in the society, push it to the police. I mean, it looks good. It might look really good and easy. That's the easy thing, but not that being lazy, you see. And now, when people decide to be lazy, many bad things will happen. And we forget to look for what we call the root causes. But you see, the hard work is when there's an issue, let's sit down, let's analyze, and let's look for the real causes.
Yeah.
For us to get sustainable solutions. And that's the thing we miss in these discussions, and which are being informed by these narratives we're trying to change. So, as you rightly said, anybody would go missing. Okay, for us police, once we get that report, we shall go through the normal process, normal procedures. Investigate. And we don't just investigate from the blues. We still have to reach to the people, and plus other forensics, and plus other, but then the people are supposed to reach out to, already they have dismissed us. You are involved. But
some of these people are assumed to be police officers.
Then I'm saying, why are they assumed? Is it based on fact? That's the question I'm asking. You see, it's easy. I'm saying it's very easy. It's very convenient for people to say it's the police.
Yes.
And based on their motivations, based on their mandates, some maybe, it's very easy for them to say it's the police, and because I'll be funded, or because of blah, 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 it works for me. Or it's easy even, for the lazy people. But these are discussions. If somebody is missing, the bottom line here is this person should be looked for. And that can only happen through an investigation. Not through, suspicions. And even when it comes to suspicions, there are levels of suspicion. So when you say it's the police, at which level are you suspecting the police? Is it at that mere level?
Yes.
Is it at a reasonable level? Is it at a probable cause? You see? So people just sit comfortably in their boardrooms, on the streets, because I'm an activist, because I'm a what. It's the police. It's the police. If they help, it's the same police again who have to investigate this, who have to document this, investigate, and get solutions. So the only thing is, come and sit down together. We are saying we must have that forum. Fine, come and say it's the police. We have no problem with that. Tell us why it's the police. It's the police, yes. Then why?
Then why?
But when you say it's the police and then you sit back, that's being lazy, and you are not helping anybody. And if you don't trust the police, say it's the police, yes. Don't trust the police. Right now, the new constitution and the police reforms is beautiful. We have oversight. Even internally, we have internal oversight.
Yes. We
have, which is independent from the, is internal within the police.
The internal affairs.
But is independent from, it doesn't take instruction from anybody. No. Nobody can control it. And it makes reports public. Go to internal affairs. Say, we are suspecting, police Bruno Shioso is to have been involved in this ABCD. They'll be on my case, like yesterday. If you don't even trust them because you feel they have their name police or whatever internal, go to IPOA. IPOA is a civilian oversight. It's owned by the public, not the police.
Which is actually formed under the Parliamentary Act.
Parliamentary Act. Yeah, very independent, and it's civilian oversight, formed by the same people who are accusing us. Go to IPOA, dump all your evidence there. Let action be taken. This doesn't happen. So we are saying that's wrong, and that's profiling police officers. Those are wrong narratives. Going back to the question, it is true we've been having forced disappearances. That's what you can call. I don't know if they are forced or whatever, because those are doubles which are maybe being. But from where you see it, we call them missing persons. Yeah, if somebody's missing, it's a missing person. That's the law. That's the position. So, if it's a forced disappearance again, that will be revealed by investigation. Yeah, because now those are motivations that are political. Those are issues that now will come with the issues, I mean, of forced disappearance. But then, even assuming it's a forced disappearance, and I will say that those are armchair, I mean, lazy kind of accusations. The hard work is, I mean, putting some extra effort to understand what is a forced disappearance and how is it caused, what are the motivations for it. Yeah. Forced disappearance, I mean, of course, state actors can be involved. That's, I mean, when you go into, I mean, what you call police studies or scholarship. But equally, non-state actors can be involved. So why do you just jump to the state actors without, I mean, questioning, might there be a motivation by a non-state actor? Okay. And that's very easy. Start with the person who's missing.
So it doesn't have to be necessarily police officers.
It doesn't have to be a police officer.
Okay.
And for you to accuse, I mean, first of all, start analyzing the person who's missing, their profile, and then who can be interested in them.
Yes.
Because for us police, our mandate and our interest in, in persons who have a crime is to arrest them through the law, take them to custody. You see, take them to custody. And then we take them to the judicial process through the criminal justice system. That's the only option we have. No any other option of forced disappearances or abductions. For which purpose? Okay. If you have if you have an interest in you, it's because you are criminal. So we shall arrest you and process you through the criminal justice system.
Is a police service bipartisan? Some politicians have been accusing police officers of being leaning to one side of the political divide or the other side, supporting which kind of politician and what have you. Are you bipartisan?
The long and short is no, we're not. And we're not designed to be that way, I mean. We are meant to be, and that's why we're part of the criminal justice system. Not that this system should be in the middle of justice, arbiters, yeah?
Yes.
So, the other day, I mean, we had young officers being, who passed away, who graduated from college, and there was an oath of service. I remember when I was there, so when that oath was recited by the officers, and it evoked my memories when I took my oath many years ago.
Oh, yes.
And, without fear or favor, it sits at the center of that oath. And it's not just something we are taught and expected to do. We take an oath over that, a solemn oath, to be fair. And that's okay, and that's the essence of justice itself, is fairness, equity.
Yes.
So that's part of, the lazy thinking, where people just, because it suits them, whether you're a politician or you are whatever, and police, but the nature of our work, we can't please everybody. Because we come into the middle of people. Yes. We only come in a situation where we have to be in the middle of the people. There's a contest over something, you see? And of course, we should make a decision that will please one, will displease the other person. So the other person will call you names.
Yeah.
So we are used to being called names, but it's up to us to just be professional, stick to the true lane, and do what we expect to do.
All right.
Yeah.
In your line of duty, police officers, in the recent past, we've seen so many cases flying around, and these perhaps can be attributed to cases of depression, lack of motivation at places of work. A classic example of what happened a week and a half ago at Kabete police station, where police officer Imbatu went on a shooting spree and a couple of people, 6 or 7, lost their lives. This is a clear misuse of firearm, which actually as a police officer should be used at when there's an imminent danger. But then cases of depression amongst the police officers. Does this worry you as an officer sitting in that office, and how are you planning to solve this?
It's really worrying.
Or rather the government.
It's really worrying, yes. And it even saddens us. At times even in itself, as we try to understand and solve those kind of issues again, we also get into the same, it's like a circle, vicious circle. Yeah. But as we are trying to solve those kind of issues, because they are so, so sad.
They keep on recurring.
Not even just recurring. They again make us, depressed. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You are trying to address a situation, but then it's affecting, grabbing off you, Yeah. So, but those are issues which are very regretful. We take them so seriously, and we take most of our time trying to see how we can sort out this, have solutions. But the main issue here, the elephant in the room, is the nature of police work, the nature of policing. And when you go to studies generally, let's put police aside. Generally, like in this room, I can see you with your colleagues here. And studies say that if you are 4 in this room as employees of KBC, Yeah, just though you are like 4 here, one of you is having a mental issue.
Yes.
At whichever level.
Study shows.
Yeah, and we're talking about elderly people, elderly Kenyan, elderly people in the world. I mean, out of every 4, there's like 1 with having an issue. And you're doing the normal job, straight job, 8 hours, maybe the offs in between, breaks. I'm sure at the end of the day you are going to get, if you have done your work well, they give you some boost.
Yeah, Kambuzi
Kidogo. Yeah. Things that are not open to the police.
Yes.
Crazy hours you are working. Yeah. And they say that police work is in the pits. That's the saying. It's in the pits. So we do some tough job, heavy lifting, where other people, when they can't do it,
that's when you step in.
That's when police step in. When we have those incidents like that you're talking about of in Batu,
yes,
7-8 people may be dead. Is the officer who have to clean that mess, take these people to the mortuary, and these are guys who still have to go back to his family. When the other day, in Baringo, an officer who are trying to do a good job, responding to a distress, an officer is losing his life. A day after that, another one, I saw the pictures, I almost cried. He has been shot. All the fingers are from the hand. These are father of kids and a husband of women. So that's ordinarily, that's our occupational hazards. We go through generally day in, day out. People having the holiday like last weekend as we are working. So we have that proclivity of being stressed because of the nature of our job.
But so, do you go through counseling processes?
Yes, so I'm just giving you the background on why we are in that kind of a scenario. But then, now the issue of what you're calling the misuse of firearms. You see, so we are already talking about somebody now who is sick, and not just like any other Kenyan, but majority of them are sick because of the nature of the job, which they are doing for the betterment of the people.
Yes,
you see. And then on the other side again, they're not getting any recognition from the people, any appreciation in terms of just like, but being bashed instead. You go through all this, but then the public is just having a quick eye to see the bad stuff you've done.
Right.
But not that great work of the guy who is in Baringo trying to move into those gullies and valleys and trying to look for the bad guys over there. Nobody's seeing that. So these guys end up being, stressed. And then you see, when you are stressed in that situation, and maybe you have to do anything, you'll use your tool of work.
Yes.
If you guys had a fight, a call in this studio, I'm sure you'll throw your mic at your colleague.
Mic and my pen.
Your pen, those are tools of work, Yes. So unfortunately, police, their tool of work 24/7 is a gun. And that's why these issues of misuse can be explained in simple terms.
Yeah.
That I'm not that there was a gun anywhere, and the police wanted to. I had to go and look for it. Just because he's in a situation that he has to do something, he's vulnerable, and then he has a gun by himself.
Yes.
And then it has to be misused. So these are, the issues you have to understand. But then now, what are you doing about it? There's so much we are doing about it, so much, which is again part of the reforms. Actually, it's part of the main focus of the reforms.
Yes.
Apart from what you have mentioned already, like through those initiatives like from Nakuru, of trying through the participation, bringing sports for officers to play with the people to distress.
Yeah.
We're having some strategic partnerships with like Chiromo group of companies, hospitals. They're really supporting us in terms of, when you have those sick cases, we take to them, and they have turned around so many, we've had so many turnarounds.
Yes.
Within the police itself, again, and police, NPS, working closely with the National Police Service Commission, which is independent again. We have a framework, actually, under the leadership of the commission of chaplaincy and the guidance and the counseling. We've employed, so many, counselors. We have a new directorate of counseling. We've already now developing services to the counties. And we are now still work in progress. We try to perfect it, but we shall be there. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks thereabouts, His Excellency the President again is concerned about this issue.
Yes.
He just gave instructions that I want a hospital like yesterday for officers at a referral hospital. As we are talking, go to our timeline today. This morning we posted, our work just commenced. In the next 8 months, we shall be having a fully state-of-the-art hospital where we shall deal with issues of health, issues of medical issues, and all other related, welfare issues of officers.
Good progress there.
Yeah.
And this one brings to my attention. 1.5 weeks ago, actually last week, when we had a parade of the GSU officers. There was a video clip of the GSU officers who said some words that probably I cannot say. What is their fate as we speak?
Yeah, you know, these are officers already.
Exactly.
And they're subject to discipline. So what happened? I mean, we said in a statement that it is unacceptable. We don't condone this kind of behaviors, but we wanted to understand them fully. We wanted to understand the whole scenario fully. So right now there's an internal mechanism, I mean, in discipline review, which is ongoing right now. And some action will be taken in terms of discipline. Or whichever measures. I don't want to preempt what will happen, but the boys are still, these are young boys who are still studying them, we are talking to them, and we want to understand them and to know exactly what led to that and what is the befitting course of action we shall take. So action is being taken internally. I don't want really to dwell on it. I don't want to preempt the final outcome out of the inquiry. But Kenya should just know that we don't condone those kind of recklessness, and we shall put a stop to that in future. It will never happen. It's never happened. That's the first, and it will never happen.
And perhaps when you go to the social media, the comments when you look at how people are commenting, it's like a perception that, you know, sasa tumetoka tunakuja, you know, some of them were papa. I don't know what papa meant, but when you look at when you listen to such kind of sentiments, and you just have new police officers coming out to serve the people, and such kind of sentiments are made, perhaps you can attribute that's why there's a very big gap between the police officers and the Mwananchi.
Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah. It's understandable that way. I mean, when those kind of, I know I'm saying we take a great exception to those kind of behaviors. But of course, I mean, I know the seniors of those officers, they are with them, trying to understand them, talk to them, and know what actually happened. And from what I'm gathering, I mean, so far, that I mean, yeah, the boys uttered those words. But I mean, according to them, which is again not acceptable in a way, but they were trying to warn the bad guys. You see,
we are coming for you.
Yeah, the bad guys. I mean, you've been disturbing the communities, and we are coming for you. I mean,
so we can
still not right. I mean, what I'm saying is still not right. But the intention was not to scare the common nice person. Yeah, but you are saying still the same. I mean, we have no bad person, we have no good person until we bring them into the criminal justice system. So it was responsible, and we were taking action.
Allow me to ask this question. The UN standard of police officer to Mwananchi ratio should be 1 to 450. That's the standard. But in Kenya scenario, it's 1 to 1,150. That gap, if I get it right?
No.
What's the ratio as you speak?
No. Kenya, I think maybe, I don't know if it's, maybe we're number one in the world, I'm not sure, but we're doing better. I mean, we're below the UN
standard of 1 to 450.
Yes, we are below that. In fact, now, even before this passing out, where we are having maybe, so far we have over 5,000 who have come out.
Yes.
Because we're talking about the APS and the GSU, and we have more from Kiganja who are to come. So they might come a total of maybe around 7,000 to 8,000 thereabouts. But even before then, I mean, we were below that UN, I mean, expectation.
45 million people.
Yeah, we were below that. We are doing really well. We are doing really well. And in all aspects of policing, I told you about the curriculum. We're doing really well. Now I'm telling you about the ratios, the quotas. We're doing really well. I don't have the specific numbers, but it should be around close to around 430 thereabouts before this passing out parade. Yes, we were doing at around 1 to around 430 as by last month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So but the number is still going to rise.
There?
In terms of police,
without the new recruits coming out, we might even come to maybe around 400 or 410 thereabouts.
Yeah. So allow me to ask you this question: whenever a police officer commits an offense, he or she will be quickly get transferred to a different station. Why?
Yeah, but I mean, to me, okay, let me not use the word common sense, but assume there's fire. There's a problem, there's fire somewhere. What do? You must remove something from the other, you know?
Yes.
I mean, a quick reaction. Yeah? So we take those first measures. If you see a police officer can either build trust or, I mean, mess up trust between not even between policing and the public, but even between the government. Because police is the face of government.
Yes.
So we take very seriously the kind of behaviors so seriously because they can impact on the general image of the larger government. That trust people have in government. Because when people wake up in the morning, what they want to see the policeman who's behaving well, who's doing his work well. When they see that, they see the government functioning. That's the face of government, whatever. So when a police officer does something wrong at a place, you see that trust deficit. There's a trust deficit immediately. So we first of all, we want to react to that first of all. It's just a reaction first to that. So we take an officer from that place to a different place first of all, just to make sure that we normalize the relationship between the government and police on one side and the public, so that then after that, it's not the end of it. We still now follow through. We still now follow through. Just see now, is this still officer fit to serve in whatever is going or not? And then we take other again secondary. So that's just a primary baseline reaction to the problem. Then we follow it with a secondary solution, then tertiary solutions, so that at the end of the day, it's addressed in a holistic manner.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a comment here. There's a question here from Kibet from Kapsabet asking, is not wearing a mask an offense punishable by law?
It is. It is, unless, like for me and you, because we're distanced and maybe in a controlled environment, in a public place, it is an offense punishable. So that's another question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm found walking around without wearing a mask, a police officer can take me to...
He can take, anytime, he'll arrest you. So I don't know why he's asking that question, but generally, and the guidelines are very clear. The CS always keeps on reminding people, they are well published. It is, they are still in force. Yes.
Okay. Fine. I'll ask you this question. What's the welfare of the police officers as we speak to motivate them at their various places of work?
Yeah, welfare of police is being addressed again. Is the one key issue again of police reforms. So much is happening from different fronts. Yes, on welfare. I've mentioned the issues of the mental health issues and the hospital. That's still part of our welfare issue. We make sure that our officers are well dressed, well turned out. Issues of salaries are keep on being reviewed of the officers to make sure that whatever they get somehow can sustain them and their families for them to actually live to that really name of an officer.
Okay.
You see, they're all officers, so they must look the part and be like the part. And so many other issues. We keep on talking to them to make sure that they're motivated, trainings all the time, promotions, you see, commendations when they're available, we give them on merit.
Yeah.
So there's so much happening. Housing, yeah, we have one of the robust housing, infrastructure, going on. And so many other things, maybe I might forget, and but they're part of issues addressing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Allow me to ask this question. What are your hobbies?
Hobbies?
Hobbies, yes.
Oh, that's a tough one.
What are your hobbies?
Maybe just one comes to mind. Only one comes to mind. Just reading.
Reading?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't play football?
Well, I don't. Because as you spoke about the issues of the nature of police work. So I don't really have that time. Even I don't even watch football. I don't even watch because I don't have that time. So the little time I have,
yes,
maybe I'll watch news and then I'll get something to read, something to read and build me up. Okay, that's the only time I have because again I have my family. But most of the time I have for the job.
Yes,
I'm in the office I wake up by 4:30 every day. By 6:30 I'm in the office. I leave the office. The earliest I can leave is after news. News, 7 o'clock news. That's around 7:30, 8. That's the earliest or beyond. So what time can I have for any other? I do have. I don't. Yeah.
What is your dream and aspiration in the position that you have right now as we speak?
Just to make a difference. And to see that I've made a contribution, a tangible contribution, concrete contribution that brings smiles to the cops that I speak for, and brings smiles to the faces of the public that we police. If I can see an officer and reaching out, like there's one we put on Twitter the other day, an officer, I don't know which station it was, who went left his job at the report office just to feed a kid who could not feed himself because he was handicapped. They melt me, when I see that, they melt me.
Yeah.
So that's an attitude. I'll see that if I can contribute towards seeing officers being responsive, not just responsible, but being responsive to the people. And being responsive, they mean that I'm just giving those law enforcement solutions only. Like reaction time, no.
Yeah.
Is just giving an ear. When I was the PA to the director of CID, I learned so much in terms of what the problem with the people are. It's not that somebody has beaten me up, take action. But it's because you can be able to sit down with me and listen to me and understand my point of view. Because most of us will listen, oh, no, this one is because the police will enter. This is because the police. But if you just listened for some 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, then you will understand. And you'll get even a solution outside the law enforcement circle or outside the criminal justice system. You'll advise, you will reach out. People will come to you, my kid is becoming a Trump, ameacha shule. And then usimwambia ati sio kazi ya polisi.
Exactly.
Listen to that, call that kid. Mwambie mimi nitakuchapa. And of course, because you are cop, mtoto anarudi kwa laini. That brings a smile to that poor mother. So we should be innovative, let's be creative in how we package our solutions to the public. Not just being strictly like, oh, book and paper, sheria imesema hivi, sheria imekata hivi. No. Let's be responsive to the needs of the people by being good listeners, but not speakers. Let's just listen more and see how we can meet in the middle. A problem half shared,
half solved.
Absolutely.
Promise me that you'll be back next time.
Anytime I'm there, that's my job. My full-time job.
All right.
Is talk to you guys and talk to Kenyans. Actually, you give me an opportunity to talk to Kenyans.
Thank you so much.
So I really appreciate you inviting me over here.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Asante sana.
Absolutely.
And to Kenyans, give us trust. Trust us. Give us that benefit of doubt. All police officers, wherever we see them, they're your servants. They are there for you. And we believe they'll give you the best they can. Thank you so much.
Best way to stop it. Thank you so much. We've been speaking to police spokesperson Bruno Shioso, just telling us some of the issues affecting the police officers and what you also need to understand as far as policing is concerned. Just briefly before we take a break, inform that the President Uhuru Kenyatta is around, will be opening groundbreaking ceremony for the proposed residential accommodation for the KDF services. That should be around to be in let me just get it right, in Roysambu military camp, and it will be happening right now. So once we have those are the live pictures from Roysambu. The president is expected there to open the groundbreaking ceremony for the proposed residential accommodation for the KDF service members. Okay, once that is done, we'll get you that live feed from Roysambu. Meanwhile, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Then?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.